The mansion looked like a castle from a scary movie. It stood alone on a hill, surrounded by tall iron gates and dead silence. No children played in the yard. No laughter echoed through the windows. Even the birds seemed afraid to sing near the Whitford estate. Inside that cold, empty house lived a 6-year-old boy who had never walked. His name was Liam Whitford, and everyone said he would never use his legs. Not tomorrow, not next year, not ever. But they were all wrong. They just didn't know it yet. Maya pressed her face against the iron gate, staring up at the mansion. "Mama, why does nobody smile in there?" she asked. Her mother, Sarah, carried a heavy basket of dirty laundry on her hip. She worked in the mansion's laundry room, washing the Whitford family's expensive clothes. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Maya came along because there was no one else to watch her. "Hush now, baby," her mother whispered. "We don't ask questions about rich people's business." But Maya couldn't stop looking. Something about that house pulled at her heart like a string. It felt lonely, sad, like it was holding a terrible secret. As they walked to the back entrance, Maya noticed something strange. The mansion had dozens of windows, but all the curtains were closed. Heavy, dark, blocking out the sun. "Why is it so dark, Mama?" "Mr. Whitford likes it that way," her mother said quietly. "Now stay in the laundry room. Don't wander. Don't touch anything. And please, Maya, don't go looking for trouble." But Maya had never been good at following rules like that. While her mother scrubbed and folded clothes, Maya sat on a wooden stool, swinging her legs. She tried to be good. She really did. But after an hour, her curiosity won. She tiptoed out of the laundry room and into the dark hallway. The mansion was silent. Too silent. Her footsteps echoed on the marble floor like drum beats. She passed rooms filled with fancy furniture covered in white sheets, like ghosts sleeping under blankets. Then she heard it, a small sound, soft, sad. Someone was crying. Maya followed the sound up a winding staircase. Her heart pounded. She knew she wasn't supposed to be there. But that crying, it sounded like a little kid, a kid who needed help. At the end of the hallway, she found a door with golden handles. She pushed it open. Inside was the most beautiful bedroom Maya had ever seen. But it didn't feel beautiful. It felt like a prison. The walls were covered with paintings of smiling families, but the family in the paintings looked fake. The shelves were filled with toys that had never been played with. And in the middle of the room, sitting in a wheelchair by the window, was a small boy with golden hair and big, sad eyes. Liam Whitford. He turned his head slowly when Maya entered. His eyes went wide with shock. You're not supposed to be here," he whispered. "I heard you crying," Maya said. She wasn't scared. She walked right up to him. "Why are you sad?" Liam stared at her like she was a magical creature. Nobody ever asked him that. The doctors asked about his legs. His father asked if he was comfortable. The nurses asked if he needed medicine. But nobody asked if he was sad. "I'm always sad," Liam said quietly. "I can't walk. I can't run. I can't play. I just sit here every day." Maya looked at his legs. They were thin and still, covered by soft pajama pants. "Does it hurt?" she asked. "No, I don't feel anything. The doctors say my brain can't talk to my legs. They say it'll never work." Maya frowned. Something about that didn't feel right. She had learned about the body in school. The teacher said that brains and bodies were connected by special strings called nerves. If the strings were broken, you couldn't move. But Liam didn't look broken. He looked trapped. "Can I touch your leg?" Maya asked. Liam looked nervous. "Why?" "I just want to see something." He nodded slowly. Maya knelt down and gently placed her hand on Liam's knee. His skin was warm, alive. She moved her hand slowly down his leg, feeling carefully. Then she felt it, a strange bump, small, hard, like a tiny rock under skin. "What's that?" she asked. "I don't know," Liam said. "The doctors put something there last year. They said it was medicine to help me, but I never got better." Maya pressed her finger against the bump, and suddenly Liam gasped. His leg twitched. Just a little, just for a second, but it moved. They both stared at his leg in shock. "Did you see that?" Maya whispered. I felt it," Liam said, his voice shaking. "I felt something, like a tiny lightning bolt." Maya's heart raced. She pressed a bump again. This time, Liam's whole foot trembled. "Your legs aren't broken," Maya said, her eyes wide. "Something is stopping them. Something in your skin." Before Liam could answer, the door burst open. A tall man in a white coat stood there, his face twisted with anger. "What are you doing?" he shouted. It was Dr. Vance, the head doctor who came to check on Liam every week. Maya jumped back, but she didn't run. "I was just—" "You are not allowed in this room." Dr. Vance marched toward her. His eyes were cold. "Mean, where is your mother?" "She's working," Maya said. Her voice was small, but she stood her ground. "I was just talking to Liam." "Liam doesn't need friends," Dr. Vance said sharply. "He needs rest and medicine. Now get out before I have you both thrown off this property." Maya looked back at Liam. He looked scared, trapped, but in his eyes she saw something new. "Hope, I'll come back," Maya whispered. "No, you will not," Dr. Vance said, grabbing her arm and pulling her toward the door. As Maya was dragged away, she looked down at her hand. It was tingling, buzzing, like she'd touched something electric. And deep in her heart, she knew the truth. Liam wasn't sick. He was being kept that way. Maya couldn't stop thinking about Liam's leg. That night, lying in her small bed in their tiny apartment, she stared at the ceiling. Her hand still tingled where she'd touched the strange bump. She kept seeing Liam's foot twitch, kept hearing his gasp of surprise. His legs weren't dead. They were being stopped. But why? And by who? Her mother had been quiet on the way home. When they got back, she'd sat Maya down at their kitchen table with serious eyes. "Baby, you can't go into that boy's room again," she said. "Mr. Whitford is a powerful man. If he gets angry, I'll lose my job. We need that job. Maya, do you understand?" Maya nodded, but inside, her heart said something different. Liam needs help, and nobody else is going to help him. 3 days later, Maya went back to the mansion. Her mother was in the laundry room, buried under piles of white sheets. Maya waited until she was busy, then slipped away into the dark hallways. This time, she was more careful. She crept like a mouse, avoiding the cameras she'd noticed on her first trip. She counted the doors until she found Liam's room again. She knocked softly. "Come in," came a small voice. Liam sat in his wheelchair by the window, just like before. But this time, when he saw Maya, his face lit up like sunrise. "You came back," he whispered. "I told you I would," Maya said, closing the door behind her. "Are you alone?" "The nurse just left. She'll be back in an hour." "Good." Maya knelt beside his wheelchair. "Liam, I need to check your legs again. I think something bad is happening to you." Liam's smile faded. "What do you mean?" "Those bumps under your skin. They're not medicine. I think they're something else." Liam looked down at his legs. Fear flickered in his eyes. "The doctor said they were helping me." "Then why aren't you getting better?" Liam had no answer. Maya gently rolled up his pajama pants. In the daylight from the window, she could see the bumps more clearly now. There were 4 of them, 2 on each leg, right above his knees and near his hips. They looked like small coins buried under his skin. "Does it hurt when I touch them?" Maya asked. "No, I don't feel anything usually." Maya pressed her finger against the first bump. Liam's knee jerked slightly. "I felt that one," he whispered. She pressed the second bump. His foot twisted to the side. "And that one too," Liam said, excitement growing in his voice. "Maya, what's happening?" "I don't know yet," Maya said, "but I'm going to find out." She leaned closer, studying the bumps. They were perfectly round, perfectly placed. And when she pressed her ear against his leg, she heard the tiniest humming sound, like a refrigerator, like a machine. "Liam," she said slowly, "I think there are machines inside your legs." "What?" Liam's eyes went huge. "That's impossible." "No, it's not," My teacher told us about people who get metal knees when their real knees break, and people who get little machines in their hearts to make them beat right. Maya pressed the bump again, and again Liam's leg twitched. These machines are doing something to your legs. Something bad. But why would the doctors do that? Liam asked. His voice shook. Why would they hurt me? Before Maya could answer, they heard footsteps in the hallway. Hide! Liam whispered urgently. Maya dove under the bed just as the door opened. Through the gap beneath the bed, Maya saw expensive black shoes walk into the room. Not nurse shoes. Not doctor's shoes. Men's dress shoes. Good afternoon, Liam, came a deep, cold voice. Maya's heart stopped. She knew that voice. Everyone in the house whispered about him. Mr. Adrian Whitford, Liam's father. Hello, father, Liam said quietly. How are you feeling today? Mr. Whitford asked, but his voice didn't sound caring. It sounded like he was asking about the weather. The same, Liam said. Good. Dr. Vance tells me you had an unauthorized visitor the other day. Silence. Liam, you know the rules. No one is allowed in your room except medical staff. Your condition is delicate. We can't have random people disturbing your treatment. She wasn't random, Liam said, and Maya felt proud of him for being brave. Her name is Maya. She's nice. I don't care if she's nice, Mr. Whitford said sharply. She is not to come near you again. Am I clear? Yes, father. The expensive shoes walked toward the door, then stopped. The devices are working well, Mr. Whitford said quietly. Dr. Vance says the data we're collecting is extraordinary. Another year, maybe 2, and we'll have everything we need. Maya's blood ran cold. Devices? Data? What was he talking about? Father, Liam said hesitantly. What devices? There was a long, terrible pause. Nothing you need to worry about, son. Just rest. I'll see you at dinner. The door closed. Maya waited until the footsteps faded completely before crawling out from under the bed. Her whole body was shaking. Did you hear that? She whispered. Liam's face was pale. Tears rolled down his cheeks. My father knows about the devices. He's doing this to me on purpose. We have to tell someone, Maya said. Who? Liam cried. The doctors work for him. The nurses work for him. Everyone in this house works for him. Nobody will believe us. Maya grabbed his hand. Then we'll find proof. We'll show everyone what's really happening. How? Maya thought hard. Then she remembered something. Does your father have an office? Yes. Downstairs. But it's always locked. Where does he keep the key? I don't know. Maya stood up, her mind racing. We need to get into that office. There has to be papers or files or something that explains what these devices are. Maya, if we get caught. We won't, Maya said, even though she wasn't sure. But, Liam, we have to try. You deserve to walk. You deserve to be free. Liam wiped his tears. For the first time in his life, he felt something powerful growing in his chest. Courage. Okay, he said. Let's do it. That night, Maya convinced her mother to let her stay late while she finished extra laundry. When the mansion grew quiet and the staff went home, Maya crept through the dark hallways. She found Mr. Whitford's office on the first floor. The door was locked, just like Liam said. But Maya had learned something important growing up poor. Rich people always had spare. Keys nearby because they forgot things. She checked under the mat. Nothing. She checked above the door frame. Nothing. Then she noticed a fancy vase on a table beside the door. She reached inside. Her fingers touched metal. The key. Her hands shook as she unlocked the door and slipped inside. The office was huge, with dark wood furniture and walls covered in certificates and awards. On the desk sat a computer, file folders, and photographs of Liam when he was a baby. Maya opened the first folder. Inside were medical reports. Big words she didn't understand, but she understood the pictures. They showed diagrams of Liam's legs. And in those diagrams, she saw them clearly, for small devices implanted under his skin. The papers called them neurostimulation inhibitors. Maya didn't know what that meant, but she knew it sounded bad. She flipped through more pages. One document made her stomach hurt. Whitford Biotech, confidential project. Subject, Liam Whitford, age 6. Purpose, long-term data collection on motor suppression technology. Device to successfully prevent voluntary muscle movement in lower limbs. Subject believes condition is genetic. Medical staff compensated for silence. Project timeline, 5 years. Maya felt sick. They were keeping Liam paralyzed on purpose. For research, for money. His own father was doing this to him. She grabbed the folder and ran. When Maya burst into Liam's room, he was already awake, staring at the ceiling. "I found it," she gasped, showing him the papers. "I found the proof." Liam looked at the documents. Even though he couldn't read all the big words, he understood enough. "My father did this," he whispered. "He's been lying to me my whole life." "We have to show this to someone," Maya said. "The police, a newspaper, someone who can help." But before they could move, the lights in the hallway blazed on. Footsteps thundered toward the room. The door slammed open. Dr. Van stood there with 2 security guards. His face was red with fury. "I knew you'd come back," he snarled at Maya. "And now you've stolen confidential property." "It's not property," Maya shouted. "It's the truth. You've been hurting Liam. You don't understand what you're." "Yes, I do." Maya's voice echoed through the mansion. "You put machines in his legs to keep him from walking. You're using him like a science experiment." One of the guards stepped forward, but suddenly a voice cut through the chaos. "Stop." Everyone froze. Mr. Whitford stood in the doorway. His face was unreadable. He walked slowly into the room, his eyes locked on the folder in Maya's hands. "Give me that," he said quietly. "No," Maya said. "Maya." "No." She held the folder tight. "You've been hurting your own son. Don't you care about him at all?" Mr. Whitford's face cracked. For just a moment, Maya saw something flicker in his eyes. "Shame. You don't understand," he whispered. "The company, the research, it was supposed to help people. We needed real data." "So you used your son?" Maya's voice broke. "He's a little kid. He cries every day. He thinks he's broken." Mr. Whitford looked at Liam, really looked at him. And Liam, with tears streaming down his face, said the words that shattered everything. "I hate you." The room went silent. Mr. Whitford staggered backward like he'd been punched. And in that moment, the truth he'd been hiding from finally crashed down on him. He'd become a monster. The words hung in the air like thunder. "I hate you." Mr. Whitford stood frozen, staring at his son. His face had gone pale. His hands trembled. "Liam," he whispered, I was trying to help people. The research." "You weren't helping people," Liam said, his voice stronger than Maya had ever heard it. "You were hurting me, every single day, while I sat in this room thinking I was broken, thinking something was wrong with me." "That's not," Mr. Whitford's voice cracked. "I never meant for you to suffer." "But I did suffer," Liam shouted. "And you knew. You watched me cry and you did nothing." Mr. Whitford sank into a chair, his head in his hands. For the first time in 6 years, he let himself feel the weight of what he'd done. Dr. Van stepped forward nervously. "Mr. Whitford, we should handle this privately. The girl and her mother can be paid to keep quiet." "No," Mr. Whitford said quietly. Everyone looked at him in shock. "No more lies," he said, raising his head. His eyes were red. "No more silence. No more experiments." He looked at Dr. Vance with disgust. "You're fired. Get out of my house." "But, sir, the project." "Get out." Dr. Vance grabbed his briefcase and fled. The security guards followed. The room fell silent. Mr. Whitford looked at Maya. She was still holding the folder, her chin raised, refusing to back down even though she was just a small girl facing a powerful man. "You're very brave," he said softly. "Braver than I've been in a long time." Maya didn't smile. "Are you going to help Liam now? Or are you going to keep being a coward?" The words stung, but they were true. Mr. Whitford stood up. I'm going to fix this. I promise. How? Liam asked bitterly. We're going to remove those devices. Tonight. And then, he swallowed hard. Then I'm going to make sure everyone knows what I did. The police, the newspapers, everyone. What I did was wrong. Criminal. And I deserve to be punished. What about the company? Maya asked. I'll shut it down, Mr. Whitford said. All of it. Whitford Biotech will never hurt another person. Within an hour, the mansion was filled with real doctors. Not ones who worked for Mr. Whitford. Not ones who could be bribed. These were honest surgeons from the city hospital, and they were horrified when they saw Liam's medical files. This is monstrous, one doctor said, examining the scans. These devices have been suppressing his motor neurons. He should have been able to walk this whole time. Can you remove them? Mr. Whitford asked, his voice breaking. Yes, but we need to do it carefully. Tonight, they set up an operating room right there in the mansion. Maya held Liam's hand as they wheeled him toward the room. I'm scared, Liam whispered. Don't be, Maya said. After tonight, you're going to be free. Will you stay? I'm not going anywhere. The surgery took 3 hours. Maya sat in the hallway with her mother, who had been called in when everything exploded. Sarah held her daughter close, tears running down her face. You could have been hurt, she whispered. But baby, you were so brave. So brave. Mama, was I wrong? Maya asked. You said not to cause trouble. Sarah smiled through her tears. Sometimes trouble is exactly what the world needs. You saw something wrong and you fixed it. That's not trouble. That's courage. Finally, the operating room doors opened. The lead surgeon walked out, pulling off his mask. He was smiling. The devices are out, he said. All 4 of them. Liam is resting now, but... The doctor's smile grew wider. Before we put him to sleep, I asked him to try moving his toes. And he did. On his own. His nervous system is intact. There's no reason he can't learn to walk. Maya jumped up with a shout of joy. Mr. Whitford, who had been pacing the entire time, fell to his knees and wept. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Mr. Whitford kept his promise. He called the police and confessed everything. He gave them all the files, all the evidence. Dr. Vance and 3 other doctors were arrested for medical experimentation on a child. The story exploded across every newspaper and television channel. Millionaire's son used as science experiment. Company CEO admits to keeping child paralyzed for research. Poor girl's courage saves boy's life. Mr. Whitford didn't try to escape punishment. He testified against his own company. Whitford Biotech was shut down permanently. New laws were passed making it illegal to do any medical experiments on people without their permission, especially children. And Mr. Whitford? He didn't go to jail, but only because he agreed to give away his entire fortune to help other children. He sold the dark, lonely mansion and moved with Liam to a small, sunny house near Maya's apartment. He donated millions to build a free rehabilitation center for poor children who couldn't afford medical care. And he named it the Maya Foundation. 6 months later, Maya stood in a bright therapy room, watching Liam take his first real steps. He held on to parallel bars, his legs shaking with effort. Sweat dripped down his face. But he was walking. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. You're doing it, Maya shouted. Liam grinned, even though his legs felt like jelly. I'm doing it. His father stood at the end of the bars, tears streaming down his face, arms outstretched. Come on, son. You can do it. Liam took a deep breath and pushed forward. 4 steps, 5 steps, 6, and then he fell into his father's arms. They both cried, happy tears this time. I'm so sorry, Mr. Whitford whispered, holding his son tight. I'm so sorry. I know, Dad, Liam said. I know. It would take time. Healing always did. But for the first time in years, they had something precious. Hope. 1 year later, the Maya Foundation opened its doors to its 100th child. The building was bright and cheerful, nothing like the dark mansion where the story began. Children laughed in the hallways. Therapists worked with patience and kindness. And best of all, every bit of care was completely free. Maya and Liam cut the ribbon together at the opening ceremony. Cameras flashed. People cheered. A reporter pushed forward with a microphone. "Maya, you saved Liam's life. How does that feel?" Maya thought about it. "I didn't save him alone. He saved himself too. When he told the truth. When he was brave, even though he was scared." "And what do you want people to learn from your story?" Maya looked at Liam, who was standing on his own 2 feet, smiling wider than the sun. "I want people to know that sometimes the people who need help can't ask for it. Sometimes they're trapped. Sometimes they're scared. So we have to pay attention. We have to look closer. We have to care." She squeezed Liam's hand. "And when we see something wrong, we can't stay quiet. We have to speak up, even if we're small, even if we're scared, because silence hurts people. But courage? Courage saves lives." The crowd erupted in applause. Mr. Whitford stood at the back, watching. He had lost his company, lost his reputation, lost his fortune. But he had gained something far more valuable. He had his son back, and he had learned the most important lesson of his life. The worst kind of paralysis isn't in the body, it's in the heart. It's when we see suffering and do nothing, when we choose money over morality, when we stay silent because speaking up is uncomfortable. That's the paralysis that destroys souls. But love, truth, courage, those things heal everything. Today, Liam runs through the park with Maya, laughing and free. He still goes to therapy, still works on getting stronger, but every day he gets better. And every day, more children come to Maya Foundation. Children who were told they'd never walk, never move, never get better. And with the help of honest doctors, caring therapists, and 2 best friends who refuse to accept injustice, they learn that miracles are real. Sometimes miracles look like expensive medicine or fancy surgeries. But sometimes miracles look like a brave little girl who refused to look away. Sometimes miracles look like speaking the truth even when it's terrifying. Sometimes miracles look like choosing what's right over what's easy. And sometimes miracles look like forgiveness, second chances, and the courage to change. If the story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because courage is contagious, and the world needs more people like Maya. People who see suffering and refuse to stay silent. Subscribe for more stories that inspire, challenge, and remind us what really matters. Because every person has the power to change a life. They just have to be brave enough to try.